We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. You're still, for the moment anyway, your Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. To my left today,
coming back to take what's rightfully mine.
My number one contender after AEW Revolution, Scholar Brian. What's going on tonight, sir?
Huzzah, Darby Allin. Huzzah.
Yes, Darby Allin came through for you last week.
Yes, I'm $50 poorer, but $50 richer in content. That's it.
There you go. And not for nothing, that pay-per-view was absolutely worth the $50. I don't think any of us are used to paying anymore, but in this case, hell yeah, it's worth it.
It's one of those things where having a pay-per-view once every 3 months, 3 or 4 months, all right, works. Look at it. 3 or 4 months, basic storytelling for 3 or 4 months gets you that show.
Mm-hmm. And it delivers on everything. But of course, now we're talking about, before we get into today's prediction show, which is for WWE Elimination Chamber,
a tale of two shows. That's what this. That's what this show is.
We have to gush about the show that was the show that got you your number one contendership for this lovely title here. In a little segment we like to call
Backstage News. Holy shit! Good wrestling. Ha, man.
Yeah. That's just an excuse to go. We're talking about AEW Revolution and the feedback. Whoo boy, this I was expecting good stuff, but AEW Revolution delivered, and big time.
This is a show where I can quite honestly say that even the worst thing on this show was not bad. And it was hurt. It was hurt by its placement. That's the reason why I feel that this particular one didn't work.
I know. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that they could have switched the two matches. I think they could have switched Orange Cassidy and Pac, and they could have switched Statlander versus Nyla Rose.
Now, to be clear, you said. It sounds like you're referring to Statlander and Rose being the weak link in here.
Yes.
Okay.
And they tried a lot of things. A lot of the things that they tried didn't work, but they were also put in the horrible position of following, quite honestly, might have been the best tag team match I've ever seen. Okay, that's it.
That's what everyone seems to say. I'm not sure if I would go that far, but damn, it was good.
I will go that far because a lot of times, a lot of the best tag team matches, haven't been surrounded by the story that pulled this one together. Yeah, this one had a lot of great moves. Yeah, this one had a fast pace. Yeah, this one you had no idea who was going to win, but it was also the overarching story that you got sucked in, man, and it's like you would have been fine with any winner. Okay, we were talking so much shit about Hangman Page at this time last year. Okay, and now he might be my second favorite wrestler on the roster. Just because he is us. He is that dude you want to be. And everyone calls him like a low rent Stone Cold or whatever, and I'm like, no. I'm telling you,
I don't see that at all.
Because of the beer. That's it.
He's not the only wrestler to drink beer.
But it's
James Storm comes to mind.
It's the story around the reason why he's drinking the beer that makes him so compelling. He feels on the outs of the elite. He came off as a normal dude or whatever before the problem started leaking through with the Elite, and you could see it as the doubts started trickling in, and he just started doing his thing, and now look at him. He's the second, like you had the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in that match, and the person who was getting the loudest cheers and the chants was always Hangman Page. And AEW did that. I'm like, this shows me that good stories can still be told. This show,
Absolutely.
because you had 3 matches here that were so drenched in story that no matter what, they were going to be good. Okay, talking about Cody versus MJF. Cody, that neck tat, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah. Honestly, I can say without hyperbole here, for me, the neck tattoo was easily the worst part of the show. Think about it. That says a lot.
Yeah. And Cody versus MJF, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and Page, and Jericho Moxley were the 3 matches that absolutely had to deliver based on the stories that were being told, based on the way this pay-per-view was being built, and they did that in spades. And then the undercard came in, Darby and Sammy playing the hoop. How many times can we try to kill ourselves and not succeed? And that's it.
Okay.
And even though that's what the match was, it was so compelling to me.
And you know what? This is the kind of match that makes you think, like, okay, they're strapping the rocket to, say, Sammy Guevara, and then
no, if they're strapping the rocket to anyone, it's Darby Allin.
But here's the point: Darby Allin, you figure, okay, yeah, he's gonna be AEW's Jeff Hardy, and we all know it. And Sammy Guevara, yeah, he's pretty good, but then he's big time heel, leans some big time heels, and then a match like this comes along, and you remember how good Sammy Guevara actually is.
Yeah.
Like, this was a guy who came in wearing a panda hat. I'm like, that guy, really?
This was
that guy, really.
Sammy Guevara, if you didn't watch his wrestling matches, you would have been hard-pressed not to see him as when The Miz first came into the WWE, and he was wearing that hat, and he was doing all the stuff with Morrison.
Whatever that is.
I'm like, the parallels are huge there. And then he gets in the ring, and then you realize
they have a knack for doing that with people lately. AEW. First they did it with Riho, and I'm like, really, her? And then they're like, yeah, really, her. And then
you're like, oh.
And then here's Sammy Guevara. Him?
And you're like, really?
Yeah,
him? And then you see a match, and you're like, oh, yeah, him. and
then there was the inclusion of quite possibly one of my new favorite wrestlers ever. I am, of course, talking about my personal favorite. He's the breakout star of this entire show. I am, of course, talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the freshly squeezed.
Oh, yes.
Orange Cassidy.
When he tries.
Yeah.
My God. And this guy, okay, I put him, like, the reactions he gets for the amount of work he doesn't put in is amazing. But then he starts putting in the work, and holy shit.
And meanwhile, I just found out like weeks ago that this guy used to be Fire Ant in Chikara. I'm like, geez, no wonder he's so good.
So it's like, this is what we've wanted. This is the culmination of everything that we wanted AEW to be in the beginning. It's like, it's had its moments. since the TV show started.
Mm-hmm.
It's had its moments, but it was never quite all the way there. Okay? But after this show, hey,
Hi.
welcome to the big time. Okay, because it has... I'm not going to say it's my overall match of the year as of right now, but American, yes. And I'm talking about that tag match. Okay, that it's
Interesting.
my actual match of the year right now is Okada Naito from Wrestle Kingdom. But based on American, this is close. This is real close. Just with everything. To me, it was almost perfect. Almost. I can't. Like American style, it was perfect. If you're talking about American style, but then I look at Okada Naito and I'm like, that's it for me right now. But
Be that as it may.
this show, okay, it's gonna be hard to top for pay-per-view of the year right now. Nothing has definite goat face. Definite. Don't even have to think about it.
No joke. This is absolutely a goat face level show.
And the eye patch getting taken off and he can see the whole time. I'm like, that is basic babyface. Babyface overcoming the heel, being smarter than the heel. It's basic, and you don't see basic anymore. Basic gets over. Just listen to the crowd when Moxley won after taking the eye patch off.
This is not one of those things where you need to surprise the audience all the time. Sometimes all we want is exactly what we want. And Jericho and Moxley, this was not a surprise. We know that these guys can go. We knew that these guys can deliver in a major way. And we knew that Moxley had to win. And we got all of these things.
And Cody versus MJF, the right man won in the right way. Okay? As much as we said, as much as people on this panel said that they've thought a clean win for MJF would do him wonders, I'm like, it doesn't fit with the character. It has to be shenanigans. The only way you're going to beat Cody is via shenanigans with MJF. And I'm happy that it was Cody's bravado that got him in the end, because after the first Crossroads, he could have ended it. After the second Crossroads, he could have ended it. But he took him up for a third, and that's when he got punched with the ring. So I'm like, at that point, it's like Cody did it to himself, and MJF did the dick heel move, and took the easy way out to get the victory. And it's MJF. What do you expect? And to the kid who got flipped off by MJF at a signing, and the dad got pissed and now wants free tickets and all that, you know what you're getting into when you sign up for an MJF meet and greet. Okay, if you don't, then you shouldn't be there in the first place because you're a noob. Okay, that's it.
That being said, here's I'm not quite a scholar's quick talk question, but a question all the same. Was there anything that really, thinking back to the show, was there anything that really surprised you about AEW Revolution? Anything that really just sort of you really, truly did not expect?
I can honestly say no. This is basic booking, basic storytelling. Okay? I thought the Young Bucks would win. I liked the tease of both at the end. Kenny Omega had the chance to turn on Hangman Page because they were all set up for the triple super kick in that position, and then Kenny turns his back, and Hangman is set up for the what's it called?
Oh wow, why am I blanking on this? Anyway, I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's set up for his finishing move on Kenny. It's like that. We still don't know. We know that one of them's turning. We still don't know which one. So I like the intrigue. I like the intrigue. I like that they're not blowing anything. They didn't blow anything off on this show. And sometimes basic works. Okay? That's the problem I have with WWE nowadays. Shock for shock's sake.
And I think that's what we're trying to get rid of, the old programming here with AEW, where we're surprised by some of this stuff, but in reality, we shouldn't be. And I think that's really the most surprising thing of all in my book, where
it's like you could
logical booking with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega.
We could have gone into predictions last week. Okay, and if we had a WWE mindset, okay, I think half of the predictions that we did would have been wrong. If this was a WWE pay-per-view, okay, half of the Sammy would have beat Darby. Okay, Orange Cassidy probably would have pulled out the win. Okay, which
Wouldn't necessarily be bad.
Wouldn't necessarily be bad, but let's face it, doesn't make sense in the overarching deal here.
He got over. He looked strong.
Yeah.
We've seen what he can do now, and he's way more over.
He got over more by losing than he would have by winning, in my eyes.
And Pac got built up in his credibility as well. So
the Young Bucks would have won, and Hangman would have turned on Page at the pay-per-view if this was a WWE show. Okay,
Hangman would have turned on Page.
Hangman would have turned on Omega.
Yes.
And
had to call that out. Got to be pedantic.
So it's and sometimes, okay, if the stories make sense, the wrestling is good, and the winners are logical, hey, you get a goat-faced pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it's hard for me. Can we at least reach an accord, at least between the two of us, that AEW Revolution is now the standard bearer by which all other shows for the year will be judged?
Yes.
Boom, there it is. So congratulations to AEW for batting 1,000 this week, delivering quality show with quality matches all across the board. Thank you so much for giving us a great weekend in wrestling.
And who do you think? Hold on, before we go into it, gotta bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jake the Snake. Who's his client, if you will?
I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to say that Brody Lee is his client, and ultimately Matt Hardy will be revealed as the higher power in the Dark Order. I'm calling this now.
I honestly don't think so, because why would Matt Hardy be talking to the Young Bucks if he's the leader of the Dark Order?
Because we're talking about just them bringing him in.
So I'm going to go the other way.
His vessel must be corrupted or something. Dark Order, blah, 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 blah.
I'm going to go the other way and say that Lance Archer is the client for Jake the Snake, because I think Jake the Snake took Lance Archer's debut spot. And it's going to be Lance Archer versus Cody Rhodes as Lance Archer's first feud with Jake the Snake in his corner. And I'm going to say that Brody Lee is the exalted one. And Matt Hardy is going to have something to do. I don't think, as much as Matt Hardy fits the Exalted One, it's also like it feels like an obvious.
You feel like it's going to be a red herring.
I feel like it's a red herring, and also, once again, I got to bring up if he's the Exalted One, what's he doing talking to the Young Bucks? On his it to me it doesn't make sense, and why not? Have Brody Lee have some acting chops. Let's see what he's got.
All I want is I want to see Brody Lee and Matt Hardy
Damn
use
it!
their
The Exalted One is El Dandy. Come on, what are we doing?
Clearly, it's Orange Cassidy. He is now exalted all across the internet.
He's squeezed too much, and now
he's gone blind.
And now there's nothing left.
But as far as this show is concerned, you still, no matter how you slice it, you still have good old Darby Allin to thank for this current title shot with our prediction show for Elimination Chamber this Sunday. So, without further ado,
the story of two pay-per-views. Okay, we just talked about one that was very well built. All the matches made sense. There was some really good wrestling, and logical winners won out at the end of the night. Now, we go to Elimination Chamber, which was built in 2 weeks.
and not for nothing, I see what this show is. Hopefully you do, and all of you do as well. This is the go-home pay-per-view of sorts before WrestleMania. So there's going to be a lot of setup, but thankfully there's going to be some unpredictability, which can make this show a heck of a lot of fun. But where will this go? Let's dive in and see. First off, we've got, for the United States Championship, we've got Andrade defending his title against Humberto Carrillo. And for this one, I am going to go... I'm gonna not overthink this. I'm just going to go with Andrade to defend. I'm not convinced that Humberto has the same level of enthusiasm with the WWE executives that to really justify a title change here. If this was Andrade versus Angel Garza, then I'd say maybe you got something. But Humberto, I don't think so. I'm going with Andrade.
Well,
why?
Do they keep the title on Andrade, who just came off a suspension, who has been said that management is pissed off at him? Okay, I think that they're setting up for a 4-way at WrestleMania. Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza versus Rey Mysterio.
Booyaka.
So for me, it's, do they keep the title and Andrade and have him lose it to Angel Garza? Because I feel like Angel Garza is walking out of WrestleMania as the United States champion no matter what we do. Or do they give Humberto Carrillo a pity month run? Because let's face it, this is what? His 5th title shot in a row on a pay-per-view? You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. Okay? I think they're going to give it to him. I think...
Humberto Carrillo?
I'm... Screw it. Why not? Humberto Carrillo takes home the United States title.
All right, then.
Give him a pity run.
We're at an impasse already.
You don't want to... Good. To me, I'm like, if Humberto Carrillo loses here, just take him out of the United States title match at WrestleMania. You've killed him. You've killed him dead. Okay? At this point, there's still hope left in the guy because he gave him a pin. And I'm like, Andrade's coming off a suspension. He should have lost the title already. So...
Hey, we have misinterpreted those kinds of signals before,
so I'm going to do it.
It's not that for me.
I'm going to do it. Why not?
All right. There it is. We've got impasse already. Elsewhere on the card, we've got the grudge match, Aleister Black versus AJ Styles. Brian, who do you got?
What it comes down to here for me is I've been reading around the internet, okay, and everything I've been reading leads me to believe that I'm not convinced that it's going to be AJ versus Undertaker in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. I think with the build that they've been going for here, I think that they might be setting up a handicap match with the OC going against Aleister Black and The Undertaker. So to build that up for me, I think the OC gets involved here. AJ Styles picks up the win. They start beating down Aleister Black at the end of it, and gone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with AJ Styles too, not for the same reason. But I feel like if this is really going to be a lead up to an AJ Styles Undertaker one-on-one, then they're going to have to bring him back to where he used to be, and then just so he can appear to be a decent challenge for the Undertaker.
And credit for mine goes to something I heard today on Larry Zonka's podcast on 411 Wrestling.
Okay, then.
And I heard that. And I heard that AJ Styles, I heard that Aleister Black Undertaker thing, and I'm like, that's actually a really good idea.
Will they do it, though?
Will they do it? Will they do it? It's WWE, so probably not. But either way, I don't think you can have AJ Styles lose here if he's going into a match with The Undertaker, especially how The Undertaker dispatched him at Super Showdown. He has to look kind of strong going into WrestleMania either way.
All right, next match we've got for the Raw Tag Team titles, we've got the Street Profits, the new champions, versus Seth Rollins and Murphy. For this one, I think it's fairly obvious the Street Profits are going to retain. It's nice to see a big title change like that happen on a Raw or a SmackDown. It's fun to see. It happens infrequently enough that it's refreshing. And the Street Profits are over enough that, yeah, I think they've earned this, and they're going to keep on to it for at least until WrestleMania. Street Profits take it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not for hot potatoing the tag team titles. They're in dire straits as it is. So that what I do think, but I don't believe that the title change should have been on a Raw. I think they did everything a week too early. I think that this week should have been the two singles matches that they had last week going into the pay-per-view where the Street Profit, where Kevin Owens could come out, cost Seth Rollins the titles on pay-per-view. Now it's just like, oh, so the Street Profits are going to beat Seth Rollins and Murphy twice in a row. Are they going to have Kevin Owens come out and do the same thing he did on Raw in order for the Street Profits to win again? I think they will, because that's how the WWE builds stories these days. So either way, Street Profits retain, and we can start the Street Profits versus AOP storyline going into WrestleMania.
And that'll be just fine with me. Elsewhere on the card, we have the Intercontinental title handicap match.
This thing.
Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro. I don't know how the heck this is going to work.
Tarek's not here this week because he's too busy crying thinking about how this match is going to go. That's it.
Crying, food poisoning, whatever. So, I believe it's your turn?
Yeah, Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
Braun, this is a vehicle for Braun to show his toughness so that when Sheamus takes it off of him, or when Sheamus or Daniel Bryan or whoever he's going to face at WrestleMania win the title off of him, it gets them that much more over. This is they've been burying these three for so long now that Sami Zayn is finally going to get his comeuppance from the hands of Braun Strowman. Sami Zayn will take the pin. Everyone will be destroyed, and Braun Strowman will stand tall. Still, your still Braun, and still your Intercontinental Champion. And the tears of Tarek. Sad boy Tarek.
Hey, this can still, in all fairness, this can still absolutely lead up to a very interesting setup for WrestleMania with the Intercontinental title. Because I'm calling it right now, it's probably going to be a fatal four-way. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of discord in between the three amigos or something. Maybe we're going to set up for an actual legitimate fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental title.
I think you're thinking too much into it, and I think that this particular feud is going to be squashed and over by the end of the night so they can move on to a singles match.
I kind of doubt it.
Sheamus needs something to do. He's never been Intercontinental Champion. They've been building that up since the Vignets came back.
Have him go grab a Shamrock Shake and wait his turn. He'll be fine. But elsewhere, speaking of waiting turns, it's time to get into our Elimination Chamber matches, starting with the men's Elimination Chamber match, the six-way tag team SmackDown tag team.
Because Roman doesn't have to win his way in.
Kerfluffle, yeah. All right. The six teams are, and I quote, Miz and Morrison, New Day, Heavy Machinery, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, The Usos, and Lucha House Party.
I didn't even know Lucha House Party were still with the company.
Mm-hmm. But apparently so. This is what we're working with here.
They are there to die. That's what they are there for. That's it.
All right. Now the big question is, which of these six teams will walk away from the Elimination Chamber?
What do you think, champ?
This one's gonna be tough.
I don't really think so.
I'm going to go with Miz and John Morrison on this one. I think they're going to give him something. And I think at WrestleMania, they're going to sow a little bit of discord. And yeah, we got something.
The deal here is, once again, going off of the tag team title match that we've already spoken of. Okay, Miz and Morrison just won a thing. Last Thursday, they just won. Okay, if you were just gonna take the titles off of them right away, why give it to them? This is the
only thing.
No, I don't. It's too soon for discord here. There's been no sign of it. There's normally signs of it beforehand, and they're not gonna start showing discord at a pay-per-view. At a pay-per-view that really doesn't matter in the scheme of things here, and they've been building a feud against the Usos. So what's the point of starting to show discord when you're setting up a feud for WrestleMania between two tag teams? So not yet, but I think that this is the case where we might finally end one of these Elimination Chamber matches, end it with a move from the top of the cell. Like, we've had those in the middle of the match moments where they take out someone that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. To do it, Morrison's done it to Sheamus. Rob Van Dam's done it. So it's like, but it's never finished an Elimination Chamber match. One of those types of things is never finished. And I think this one, we might actually get it. Okay, we might get John Morrison spider monkeying off the top of the cell into the Usos and pinning both of them. That's what I'm going for here. This is the spectacle match, and who's gonna show you the most spectacle than John Morrison? And this, I think that this is a thank you run. You came back to the WWE. You didn't have to. And we're going to thank you by letting you run up to WrestleMania as our tag team champions. So, yeah, this is going to come down to Miz and Morrison versus the Usos because that's how this has been building the whole time. And Miz and Morrison are going to pull this one out so we can get a one-on-one tag match for the titles at WrestleMania. So, Miz and Morrison.
All right, then. Now, we bring it to what I believe is going
the most obvious of obvious. If we do not have the same answer on this one.
We're talking about, for reference, we're talking about the Elimination Chamber match for the women. Natalya, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan.
5 of those names do not matter at all.
This is number 1 contendership for the Raw Women's title to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
The only name that matters.
Shall we say it on 3? 1, 2, 3. Shayna Baszler. There we go.
Okay, you didn't even have to read the names off. It was just going to be one of those... You could have just said Women's Elimination Chamber. We could have just stared at the screen.
But then that would be dead air, and nobody likes dead air on YouTube.
Yeah, so... They've only been building... This is another one where it's like, yeah. Should have done it with the SmackDown women. Because we know how the Raw women's got to go. That's it. We know. We've known since the Rumble.
Yes, and I really wish they did because I really wanted to see Lacey show up and do something to somebody.
I'm still pissed with the plan. Here's the deal. Okay, I like Lacey Evans. I really do. Okay. To me, she's not ready. She's not ready for a women's title win at WrestleMania. I think the money match that you had there was Bayley versus Sasha Banks. If you had built it right. You didn't, and now you're stuck. But so you're going to get what you want. You're going to get Lacey Evans being the women's champion after WrestleMania. But this feels to me like another version of being pushed too far, too soon. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Shayna's going to kill.
Shayna will eat. Shayna will kill.
This is going to be... Like, none of these women, Asuka maybe, none of these women could put up a fight with Shayna Baszler the way that she's been built on Raw. Okay? She went vampire on Becky Lynch's neck.
Yeah,
okay.
That'd be terrifying.
She's being built like the Brock Lesnar of that show's division, and she's gonna show it. This might be the shortest Elimination Chamber ever had.
I wouldn't quite go that far.
I will go that far. This chamber, if it goes more than 35 minutes, okay, what is it? 5-minute intervals?
Something like that.
Okay. You'll have the other 5 come out first. Okay, Shayna will come out 6th and just fucking murder everyone in about 5 to 7 minutes. That's how I feel this going. And this shouldn't have been... She should have gotten the Roman Reigns treatment. They both
no one deserves the Roman Reigns treatment.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. If anyone should have been able to just walk out and be like, that match is mine. I'm facing you at WrestleMania. It's Shayna Baszler who bit Becky Lynch vampire style. Come on.
Yay.
It's like there's no build to anything on SmackDown for the women's side. So that's how you do your number 1 contender for the SmackDown women's title in the Elimination Chamber. Okay, if you're not going to have a men's number 1 contender and Roman Reigns gets right into his Elimination Chamber match? Why are you having someone who bit the champion, like, drew blood, massive amounts of blood? Okay, why are you having her run through your entire Raw Women's division just to get her title shot? It's, I don't know. But I do understand.
A match.
I do understand that if they didn't do it on the Raw side, they wouldn't have a main event. There is no match on this card when you look at it with a blind eye, not knowing anything that's going on. Not knowing anything that's going on, not following up on the story, not knowing what's been on TV. Is there a main event on that card that you're looking at? Right now?
And that's why we're here. But you know what? I personally still love Elimination Chamber matches, tag or otherwise, male, female, whatever. These are still a lot of fun to watch. They're pure spectacles. And it's going to be a good time, about as good a time as we're going to get before WrestleMania. So yeah, once again, it comes down to just one match.
And it's probably going to be the opening match.
So this title, the Scholars of Wrestling Heavyweight Championship of the World, will be decided in one match. Maybe early on in the night. We'll see. We're going to have to find out. But you know what? Now that we've covered where we stand on the issue, now we're turning it over to you, our wrestling listening and viewing audience. Join the conversation all across social media, Facebook, Twitter machines, YouTube comments. We want to hear from you, especially on our Twitter machines. So you can join the conversation starting with our main page at ScholarsOW for all the latest wrestling postings and episode uploads. And you can also check us out on our personal Twitter accounts. Starting with Brian, where can they reach you?
You can find me bowing to the Exalted One at Atomic Beanpole.
And you can also check out our MIA Scholar Tarek, at the Avataric.
Almost forgot that one, huh?
I don't know why I'm blanking on quite a bit. Hopefully we're not blanking on Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo. But all that aside, you can also follow me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. I'm sure we're going to be live tweeting all throughout the night for Elimination Chamber, seeing who's going to win this lovely, prestigious title. And Scholar Brian, may the best scholar win.
Huzzah!
It's going to be an interesting one. We're going into WrestleMania season. We're going into the chamber. And you know what's going to happen because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you all at Elimination Chamber.
Huzzah!